I'm just gonna run through quickly sort of the things that need to be completed before you go out. Most of you have already finished most, if not all of this. It's just a quick recap, make sure that nothing falls through the cracks. So one of the things is a DBS, a recent DBS from within the last 2 years. I think all of you probably have sent me that or are in the process of sending me that. But just to make sure that that's something that's already established. The two reference letters from two different people. Again, I think I have that for most of you. There are a couple people who I'm still waiting back on a letter from one of your references, but they still have a couple days to get that back. If not, I'll reach out to you again and I'll just say, maybe if you could sort of gently nudge this person, make sure they've not lost it in their inbox. Obviously, you need your flight details, otherwise you're not going to get there at all. But also, we need to know them so that we can make sure there's somebody to pick you up. We also need to know your departure dates so that we can send it to the program and make sure that they are able to take you back to the airport once your time is done. So if you haven't sent me both arrival and departure dates, I will need those as soon as possible so we can make sure that our partners have all the full information. We also have the safeguarding course. I believe most of you have already been sent a link to it, but I don't think everybody has completed it yet. So that's something that needs to be done before you go out. If you haven't received it, please let me know and I will double check on why that is and have it sent to you again. Also, before you go out, this is probably pretty self-explanatory, pretty obvious, but you need to have raised the full fundraising amount before you go out. You are more than welcome to continue fundraising afterwards. We actually encourage it. Your fundraising page itself will stay open, I want to say, for about a year after you created it. So you can keep fundraising, people can keep donating. Any excess funds that come in are divided between SwimTayka and the partner program. So it's not like money that goes to waste. It still goes to where you want. It helps us continue running the existing program and also helps SwimTayka support some of our other ones to have maximum reach with our swimming lessons and teaching children. If you have any questions about that at any point, you can always just let me know. I'm happy to talk through things. But it is that the minimum needs to be raised prior to your departure, preferably a month before, because we need to be able to then give the funds and transfer it over to our partners, SwimDo, so that they have everything ready for you when you get there. Additionally, this is probably information that's maybe not crossed people's minds yet, but if you do have any dietary restrictions, I know I've talked to maybe a couple of you about that already, but if you have any dietary restrictions such as allergies or like vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, anything like that, it would be great if you could let us know in advance so we can pass that information on as well. It shouldn't be a problem one way or another, but we do just want to make sure that everything is sort of prepared for that and we have that kind of information. If you do have any dietary restrictions, you can let us know at the end of this webinar and I can just jot it down now, or you can send an email with that info afterwards. Either way is fine. So Brian, I'm going to pass it to you to discuss any documentation that they need to make sure is taken care of before they go out.
Yeah, so hello everybody. The additional things, of course, you need to take your passports with regards to going out to Indonesia. With regards to any visas and such like, it's because you're only going for a short period of time, When you arrive, just get an ordinary tourist visa when you arrive. Um, it's always the best options to do that. You can always, if you're ever worried about anything or need to ask any questions with regards to entry into it, it's always worth looking on the UK government's Foreign Office website for Indonesia. That will give you up to date information. um, Also, help as well, and that's the source of truth. You can get information from elsewhere, but they essentially get it from there. So always go to the source of truth for any information to be able to do things. Make sure you have travel insurance. That goes without saying because you're going to a foreign country. SwimTayka does have a certain amount of insurance with regards to you going out there, but you're really under the banner of both SwimTayka and SwimDo when you're out there. So SwimDo will mainly be looking after you on a day-to-day basis regards to doing everything that's out there. If you find you have any problems, one, put on the WhatsApp group, message me, Amy or myself. We'll try and help you. Of course, Amy has more knowledge with regards to the location. And if you're stuck or in any difficulty or anything, then I do need to know. We'll do our utmost to basically help you wherever possible. So that's about it on my side. You will have a fantastic time. Amy will vouch for that. Everybody that goes out to our programs says that you get a lot more out of it than you realise. Because you enjoy teaching, you'll find the children out there just love the fact that you've come all the way out to see them, to teach them, and they really appreciate that. We really appreciate you going out to the program. So thank you.
Yep. So, Amy, are you able to sort of run through a list of stuff that everybody should remember to bring? I mean, you've all or should have all received the Bali information pack. Again, if you haven't, let me know and I'll send it out to you again. Or if it's just lost in your inbox, I can still send it again. It has a basic packing list of what you need, but Amy, since you've been there, you may be able to give some insight into some of those little things that slip through the cracks.
Yeah, so I mean, that list is actually pretty good. Other stuff is more optional. I did find bringing things like cleansing wipes and things like that with me were very handy for when you're out and about. But at the pool, definitely make sure that you've got a hat because the pools are outside. You'll find out that sometimes you will just be stuck in the heat in the pool, for half an hour at a time. You just need to make sure that you are shaded from the sun. Long sleeved rash vest. I know on the list it says to bring a sarong. I think it says on the list to bring a sarong. You don't actually have to bring one. You can hire one from. They will take you to the Holy Water Temple. They'll have picked one of the days to take you there, and it's the most amazing place. You can hire sarongs there, and it's really cheap to hire them. If you are taking your own, just make sure that it doesn't have tassels on it or anything like that, because you won't be allowed to use it. It's not classed as a traditional Balinese sarong. Make sure you take a water bottle. That you can always fill up your water at the SwimDo house. Just make sure that you've got your own reusable water bottle. It makes life a lot easier. You can obviously buy it from the shops, but it's just easier to have your own. I'm just trying to think. I know a few people were asking what sort of equipment and things like that to take. When we go, we are taking some donations that have been kindly given to us by Zogs. We're taking some swimsuits for boys and girls, but I know that the teachers would quite like some either rash vests, board shorts, adult goggles, and they were quite keen on the throwback. I took some throwbags to teach them rescue skills last time I went, and they actually really liked those. So they're a good one to take if anyone would like to kindly donate those. Yeah, I think that is mainly what they're asking for. They definitely appreciate the goggles for the teachers. Yeah, go on, Brian.
Amy, didn't they also request potentially a mannequin as well?
Yes, that was the one. I knew there was something. They would like a CPR mannequin, but we're not quite sure how to get one there. So if anyone has one or has one they would like to donate, or would like to donate the funds for us to purchase one for them, we will somehow find a way to get one over there. We're still looking into options, but if anyone has any ideas, then it would be very helpful. That's something that they're really keen on.
It's also worth, if you've got all your flights already pre-booked, and if it's with a major airline, you still have time to maybe write to them and just say you're going to the country, you're doing some volunteering. We would like to maybe take a case which has a mannequin in, and see whether they'll allow you to do that as an extra, and see whether they'll sponsor you for doing that. So if anybody has time for doing that, then it's worth just asking and see whether they can do that. And if they do,
Yeah.
then we'll definitely make sure we get a mannequin to you somehow.
Yeah. Or if there's any local businesses that might donate the funds for a mannequin, and then we can arrange with the airline to get one. There's lots of options, but if anyone can help with that, it would be much appreciated. I think that's one of the things we are struggling with more now. It's getting closer to the time. Other than things to take with you, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, you can buy pretty much anything in Bali. As I mentioned on the last call, I know there was only a few of you on, but the feminine hygiene products are very difficult to get when you're there. So just make sure you do, if you need those, take those with you, because if you can get them, they're very expensive as well. Yeah, I think that is it. Has anyone got any questions about what sort of things they need to bring, or anything I've mentioned so far, anything that's on the list?
So Amy,
Anyone after a bit of advice?
you might know this more than myself. Is do they rely on cash out there, or is it contactless or card payments for everything? What's
So it's both. Obviously the market's it's cash. So if you are going to, you do need to get cash out. If you can take some with you before you go, I would advise it, because there's a lot of cash machines in Bali, but they're not all secure. So if you're going to use a cash machine out there, make sure you're using one within a bank. So there's plenty of banks around, but make sure you don't use the ones on the street or in there's like post boxes style things. Don't use those, because sometimes they can be fake.
I've been traveling for a number of years. And one tip I actually got from the bank was, when you either go to an airport or arrive at an airport, it's worth just putting your card that you're going to use abroad, or whatever type of card it is, into into a cash machine. You might not do anything with it. One, you can get maybe cash out of it if you want to do that. But by putting your card in the machine, whether it be at Heathrow, Gatwick, or Denpasar when you get to Bali, the bank knows you're travelling to that country, so they won't block it. Because if you don't do that, they potentially could. They might see a number of transactions, and they'll say, "Oh, somebody's using this card. We didn't know you were going travelling," so they might block your card, which is the worst thing to do when you're away. But that's one way to actually notify the bank that it happens. So, and cash machines inside, of course, the airports in Bali will be valid machines as well, if you do want to get cash out that way.
Yeah, yeah. Any in the airports, any in banks, perfectly safe. So just make sure that you use those, and there are plenty. I had trouble with one of my cards, even though I had told my bank, and I actually couldn't get any money out for 5 days. But luckily, I had got some out before I went, and it lasted me. But yeah, it was a bit of a panic, because I thought, well, I'm here for 2 weeks and I might not be able to get anything. I got it sorted at the bank eventually. So, and again, the SwimTayka team will help with that if you're stuck.
Another thing you do that you might not realise, it's not until you're in the situation, if you actually go into a registered bank and take your card with you and your passport, you can get cash out. You don't have to put your PIN number in. That they will do it that way, and that's recognised all around the world as well. Just in case you get into that situation again. I've been in these situations, and I've done it two or three times. So.
Yeah, it's quite scary when you're on your own in another country and you've no idea how it all works. So yeah, just make sure you've always got a bit of cash with you and your card, and you'll be absolutely fine. Any questions? Cool.
Are there any questions about any of the other stuff, or any questions that you've had that you came with? Any questions at all, basically. Ooh, no questions.
Are you all excited?
I have one question.
Yep.
Yep. What are the mosquitoes like there? Is the house mosquito proof, or do you need a mosquito net?
Amy, I'll direct that to you.
Yeah, so no, it's not. I took, and I found it really good, some citronella candles with me when I went. So I had them in my room if I needed them. Citronella sticks and those bracelets. But yeah, if you there are nets around, but in the house, it's not too bad with mosquitoes. It's good as long as you keep your door shut throughout the day. But if one does get into your room, then yeah, trying to get it out is a pain. So it's choice. It wasn't too bad. It was more when you're out and about right by the pools that you get bitten more than anything. There's lizards in the house. There's a couple of geckos in the house, and at one point we did see a big lizard on the wall, but it was beautiful. It wasn't scary. It was nice, and it stayed away from us.
So the mozzies.
Exactly. Yeah.
In regards to money, how much do you reckon, or how much would you say that we'd need to take for the 2 weeks?
So it's really difficult. It depends on what sort of trip you want to have. Obviously, you'll get the mornings where you can go out and about. So you're welcome to go on tour trips. You're welcome to go to the shops. There is the markets. Food is very, very cheap when you're out there. At the markets, they love haggling, so you can tend to get clothes and things very cheap. So yeah, it's difficult to say, and obviously your breakfast and your evening meal are also paid for. So if you don't generally eat in an afternoon, especially when it's hot, then you don't really need to buy any food if you don't want to. So it is more of a choice thing. I think last time I was really excited about going, so I think from what I remember, I planned on taking about £500, but I came home with about 200, and I did loads of things. So
Yeah,
that
that's
helps.
what. Yeah, that's what kind of what I was thinking. I was thinking about taking like 500 in cash, and then just doing it that kind of way. So instead of doing it contactless, but I didn't want to obviously change too much money just in case. We didn't need it.
No, that's it. Yeah, you shouldn't. You don't need anything really. Your basics are covered, unless you want an afternoon meal. They there are, I think, 3 trips a week included in your in what you've raised from the donations, so that a geese will take you out and he'll arrange with you beforehand where you want to go. But if you want to go on more trips, you can give him more money and he'll kind of be your tour guide for a day and take you out more places. So it all depends on what you want to get out of the trip. If you want to make the most and get all over, then you probably need a little bit more.
Okay, fab. Thank you. Sorry about the noise in the background. We've got a house party going on with like loads and loads of lads for this football. So sorry about that. The only other question was, we were obviously there's a group of us coming out from the swim school, and we were obviously planning on hopefully kind of like that weekend just going to somewhere different, and we booked a villa in Nusa or something like that, which is an island just off Bali. Well, oh God, sorry. I hope you can hear them. They're having the time of their life out there.
I know it sounds great.
Load of 16, 17 and 18-year-old lads playing football and smashing the fences to bits. But no, would we be able to get the driver to take us to the ferry port, or shall we get the taxi and sort that out ourselves?
So wait till you get there, discuss it with them. They will do their very best to get you there. So when we went, we did exactly the same as that. And we went to stay somewhere. We went to stay in Ahmed, which is amazing for snorkeling. If anyone wants any ideas on where to stay, Ahmed is beautiful and it's quiet and it's away from the tourists. But yeah, they took us, and it was right across the other side of the island to where we are, and they were more than happy to take us. And because the geese couldn't, his brother took us instead. So there's loads of people that will take you, and if not, they will get you the best driver anyway. So I wouldn't advise to use Gojek is the taxi service. It's like the Uber out there. But if you can help the locals and to help the SwimDo team, because a lot of them do it as an extra job, then I would use their services if you can instead of Gojek.
Amazing, fantastic. And if we wanted to volunteer in schools while we're out there in the daytime, like if we got nothing planned or we fancied trying to help out in schools, how would we go about that?
So again, when you get there, Indira's uncle owns a daycare centre and he will welcome volunteers with open arms. So let them know when you get there and she will arrange whichever days you want to go. She'll arrange with her uncle for you to go and help out there as well.
Brilliant, thank you.
So there's two things I just want to mention with regards to what you were saying, Vicky. If you are, or if anybody's taking that type of money, like £500, $500 worth of money, make sure you keep it in two separate places. Because when you arrive at the airport, everybody knows that tourists tend to carry a lot of money with them. So if the worst happens and you were to lose it or get robbed or anything else like that, at least you've still got money somewhere, so somewhere safe. The other thing with regards to transportation, there are lots of motorbikes in Indonesia, especially in Bali, and there's a temptation to potentially hire a motorbike to get around. The problem if you do that is your travel insurance does not cover you for driving mopeds or motorbikes. So just bear that in mind, and it is a nightmare because there are lots of them when you're out there.
Right, okay, yeah, that we kind of like thought about that beforehand and we weren't 100% sure. We was actually still looking at travel insurance. We've not actually bought it yet. So we were kind of like looking at travel insurance to see if any of them would cover us for something along them lines. But, you know, we've not come across anything yet. So that was another question that I was going to ask. Thank you.
I've never known an insurance company to insure you because it's so dangerous.
Right. Yeah. No. That's great. Yeah. I suppose we've just been for our jabs, and somebody was actually saying about the hepatitis B jab because we've got to go privately for that. But they were saying that it was up to us if we wanted to or not have it because if we did have an accident out there, then obviously we'd need it. But it was a low risk jab. Purely because of the job that we're doing with yourselves. So they were kind of like left it up to us, but I was like, well, no, I'll have it because if I do end up, you know, having any kind of accidents or whatever, God forbid, but you know, that at least then you are covered. With insurance, what companies do you recommend? Obviously from an English point of view.
It's all down to yourself, really, regards to what you want to do. A lot of the banks do travel insurance. So, for example, the NatWest do travel insurance with your own accounts. Nationwide do travel insurance. Those ones tend to be very good. It's really just going with reputable insurance companies. I've always found whenever you claim, if you go for a cheap one, you'll find it really hard to claim. And it's a long-winded process and you tend to give up and don't get whatever money you're after. So it depends.
Yeah, I've got mine with my bank at the moment, but I just didn't know if to get any separate insurance. That was the kind of thing that I was just thinking.
Yeah. You got your hand up, Amy.
Yeah, so I couldn't tell if you could see me then. And I've just remembered actually while we're talking, when you get to the airport, you will have the contact details of whoever's meeting you, which will probably be a geese. But you'll come out kind of towards the exit of the airport, and there will be a lot of drivers trying to get your services. So they'll be holding signs up, they'll be waving at you, and it is quite daunting because there's so many of them. But before you go through them, if you just take a step back, and they will usually meet you in the quieter spots. If you look towards the left, there's a quiet area, and you'll find a geese. He'll be there, and he'll be clearly seen, and he'll be waving at you, and he'll be contacting you. But don't be put off by all the drivers looking at you. They'll be in a quiet spot to the left.
Are there any other questions about any part of this stuff beforehand or stuff after you get there, stuff after you get back home, even afterwards?
No, if anybody does have any questions, then of course you can direct them at any three of us on the WhatsApp group, email, or even calling us anytime.
Yes.
So I just wanted to share this video. It's only a short video. Thank you very much for watching. Okay, so a lot of people don't realise with regards to what impact it has with regards to going to these programs, but it is huge. The legacy you leave behind with regards to you going there and the children you help will last for generations, and that's the type of impact you'll have on people. So I wish you all the best. Have a lovely time when you go out there. I don't know if we'll be speaking to many people before. Have we got any more webinars before people go out, Ash?
We do not, but if any of you would find that helpful, I mean, we always can, but I know that some of you are leaving very, very soon, so this is sort of your final preparation webinar.
Also, send us lots and lots of videos and pictures while you're out there. We want to know all about your journey and how you're getting on.
Absolutely, yeah.
If you can write about, if you enjoy writing and telling stories, then please do tell the stories. So speak to the local people, speak to the local children as well. We're always after interesting stories, stories that impact the children based around drowning prevention. Whether there's any stories that somebody might have lost somebody through drowning, and that's why they thought they needed to learn to swim, or as a result of doing the program, they got into difficulties and they managed to rescue themselves. Anything like that. If you find any information like that from people, get as much information from them as possible. Try and ask them for a little interview, even if it's in their local language, and get an India or somebody else like that to do it for you. They all help, and all those videos and commentaries and stories go towards encouraging other people to be able to go out to the programs as well.
Are we allowed to also share things like that on social media as well?
I don't see why not. As long as you get people's consent that you're going to be doing things. But most of the time, people are okay with it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so you'll be able to ask Indira on the day. So if you've got pictures of the day, just whenever you're taking pictures, they'll pull any children out that can't be in photos and things like that, and they'll and you can just let them know what you're going to be sharing it on, and they'll tell you whether that's okay or not. But it's usually fine. They usually appreciate it.
No, that's fantastic. I just think it would be a really good idea to share it in the UK, because obviously since we joined up to this programme and got accepted to, be given this opportunity, that a lot of people have asked about it since, sharing it on social. We work, it's a big swim school, so lots of parents are backing us. And, hopefully next year we'll be able to bring some of our new teachers out that will be 18 by the time. So to be able to share things like that, and that was one thing that I was going to ask, obviously because of consent and it being for the charity, I didn't know what the situation would be.
And also, when you do post these things on social media, if you felt so inclined, you can always tag us at SwimTayka across Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X. And that way we can see it and hopefully repost it or comment, because we love to see things as well.
So social media is massive nowadays. So
yeah.
Hopefully, hopefully that we can help in that. We will get. I know we'll get a lot of support and a big following on this. Especially with the young teachers that I'm bringing out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, as long as we have your permission, then obviously we'll do something like that to help the charity and be able to support obviously those kids in that country.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Always feel free to tag us in anything. It helps us get our mission out to more people. And also, quite frankly, we just like to see it. We just like to, see what our volunteers are doing and how they're doing and how they're enjoying themselves and the change that they're making. So, yeah.
So one last thing from my side. We've got the STA conference coming up later in the year. And of course, SwimTayka will be there. But we're going to try and do a presentation. Amy and I are working on something to be able to do a presentation around the programs, around with regards to the teaching methods that you're using when you go out there. So if you are, I know a lot of you do tend to go to the conference each year. If you are going, then please let us know beforehand. Then perhaps we can get everybody together and get a photo together, an opportunity, and get us all to talk about the stories we had in the programs. That'd be really nice if we could do that.
That's at Leicester, isn't it?
It is at Leicester, this year. It's at the Leicester Marriott Hotel. But yeah, if anyone's got any statements or anything as well, once you've done the programme, that we can add into our presentation of actual real, people that have actually been out there, then it'll be a good testimonial. So
I'll get the date for that, and we'll probably join you one day. I've not been to the SDA conference before, so it'd be nice to be able to join you.
It's a brilliant event. It is very, very good. You get so much out of it. So many learning opportunities for you. The people you meet are just incredible.
Well, thank you for coming to our webinar. I hope that this was helpful for all of you. Again, if you do have any questions later, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. And I hope you have a safe journey and a really, really good time. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.